what this Archangel Michael Twitter thing was.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, so it was a long thread on Twitter that had the person was talking about what is actually ascension, what's the event, and what will happen. And a lot of the language was in Law of One speaking. There's talked about the event and also the harvest and service to self, service to others, and percentages and stuff. And things that I'd read before, such as, 55% service to others is enough to graduate, but you have to have 90 or was it 95% service to self. You have to be totally into it to go to the next. It says this one said that the 10% or whatever of the population that was really that badly service to self was going to be taken to a more advanced service to self civilization, and there'll be slaves there, and they'll have a long time as being slaves and experiencing that. They also said, this was interesting, and I'm wondering what your hit is on this, is that everybody's going to be taken off the planet during the event. Our bodies are going to cease to exist. Our souls will be taken to new bodies, that there's a new earth somewhere else. Those who ascend, are harvested, go to fourth density, service to all or service to others, will go to this beautiful new earth and have a body that we can create with our soul energy however we want. That like I said, the negatives are going to go to this other negative civilization, and that the people who aren't enough polarized either way, they'll go to another planet that has third density reality. That this planet has been so damaged by humans that she needs us to get the hell off of here. And they said 10,000 years with just nature. What do you think?
That's different from every other opinion that I've heard. I'm not going to say I'm going to say it's different from the others, because the impression I got is that Gaia is upgrading. It's Gaia that's upgrading. She is the soul of the planet. And the whole reason that we're the greatest show in the universe is because we're leaving our bodies here. It's the first time that's meant to happen. I don't know how you choose first time, considering time does not exist, but everybody's watching to see what happens when you leave the bodies on a planet and upgrade it with the body still there. So that doesn't quite match for
it doesn't.
Feels right to me.
They also said that it's actually not positive extraterrestrials who are going to offer to take you in their ships during the event, the solar flash, and protect you. That's them taking you off to be slaves. So don't do it. I'm like, this is a little different.
Yeah, this is not sounding like upgrade.
The energy behind this person feels clean. And other stuff that
the channel clean.
It felt clean, but and the information is said to come from Archangel Michael, and the other things that she wrote have a high frequency, and she responds to a lot of people's questions, and I really like what's written there. Talking about the focus on non-judgmentalism and that forgiveness is important, things like that we talk about all the time. So I don't know. I just thought. It was interesting. It didn't have that false. It didn't ring untrue on my truth meter, and I suppose it's possible that we got it wrong. That the Earth is going to transform magically, and the new Earth is going to be here right away. I mean, I can see how that wouldn't be possible, but I don't know.
If the previous visions that you've had of, crap blowing off, it's the butterfly coming out of the cocoon, isn't it, really? It's not necessarily going somewhere. And although we've seen, many of us have talked about before, a bridge from the old world to the new world, I don't think it's a physical, one world next to the other like this. I think it's when you think about what 3D to 5D is, that's talking about dimensions, and I don't understand densities. I've not looked at them enough. And sometimes people mix the terms, which makes it really confusing. But dimensions, and from my point of view, from what I've learned, is about the amount that you can see and understand about a particular thing. So, for example, if I draw a line on a piece of paper, a flat piece of paper, 2 dimensions, right? And if I draw a cartoon of, you know, Bart Simpson, that's 2 dimensions. But if I give you a doll of Bart Simpson, it's got one whole extra dimension, so you can walk around it, you can look at it from many different points of view, and you can understand it a whole lot better than what you could if it was just flat. And so that's 3 dimensions. And 4th is your imagination, apparently. There's probably more to it than that, but basically looking into, well, what would Bart look like if he grew up? Or, because that includes time, you see. Or what would happen if someone punched him in the eye? I would get a bruise there. Or, so this is your imagination as to seeing the potential of that object as to what it could be. And then 5th dimension is being able to see all the options. So I had that described to me as, look, I don't want to go into that right now, but basically it's looking beyond, like, all the options forward, which makes you very wise in your decisions, because you know, it's like being like a great chess player. You can see, if I go that way, I'm going to get knocked out, so I'll go this way instead. And you know that before you make the move. So it makes you much wiser. You can also see the pathway, all the choices you made to get to where you are today. So
how would you apply that, or how does that compare to that experience I had when I was teaching the class? And then I said, you know, what it would be like if I could see all the other parallels, if I could perceive them, and all of a sudden they just stacked up right next to me, right? And I started laughing, and all of them started laughing. That made me laugh more. And then my students are all going, why is she suddenly hysterically laughing? I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just all of the me's are so funny.
Exactly.
You know, and in that moment, I could perceive that other dimension. I mean, I saw, of course, it's right there.
Yes, so it's already there.
It's always been right in there.
Yeah. So it's like going backwards a bit and saying, okay, the Bart Simpson doll is there. You could look all around it, but instead you just look at one side because you think it's probably only 2D. You see? So at the moment, we think we're in 3D. Those that have imagination, it gets knocked out of them once they start at school, if their parents haven't already done it before they started school. So to keep that imagination and be a dreamer and think up the possibilities of what else could be is actually one of the greatest talents that anyone could ever have. And our system is designed to knock it out. So there's your 4D, but then we'll all start to be able to see that 5D all the time. So the world is still the world. The world physically, it's 3D is still there, but all the potential within it and possibilities, we little people on the surface of the planet will start to be able to see the potential of our surroundings and what we could make of it. I get the impression that's more like what 5D is going to be about. It's not necessarily head off in a spaceship and go and find the new Earth. It's not like that. It's that this position in space compared to the sun and everything else is still going to be where we live, but it upgrades.
I mean, that's always been my belief. I just thought that was interesting information, you know, because I wanted to see how you felt about it.
Yeah,
it's a different way, slightly different way of looking at it.
And it's quite scary as well, the idea that, you know, you can't trust the people that are going to come and help. And
plus that thing of like, wait a minute, you're just going to miraculously take me out of my body? Does that mean we're all going to die?
Yeah.
Or I thought maybe if we're all taken off the planet, then when the flash happens and the poles shift and the wind blows 500 miles an hour and the oceans cross over the continents and all that, we won't be here anymore? I don't know. I mean, my understanding is we're not going to have that experience. It's not going to happen that way. It may have happened on this planet that way before. There's all kinds of evidence of that. The melted glass and lots of evidence that something like this has happened before.
But it's never happened taking us up to 5D though. That's different. Pole shifts have happened, but not advancing.
And then the other thing that is odd, I mean, so that whole thing of somebody's going to take you up in their ship and save you from having to experience a disaster. My dad was all on that one all the time. He's like, I want to make sure you know if the ships come and say we can beam you up, get on them. Ashtar is coming to save you, Dad. But he was just into weird spiritual stuff. He was into Ashtar. Ashtar, come on. So a lot of the work of the quantum hypnosis healing people like Alice and Co., they're connecting with their higher selves and getting information from there, and they're being shown the experience, and it says people are going to be taken in ships and put in suspended animation because they can't handle the ship, and they'll be taken care of, and then they'll be brought back.
It's a mixture, isn't it? We're getting the different. That feels good too. That feels right. But at the same time, we've got the information of these non-soul players that will just disappear because they're only part of the 3D matrix, and we're never there in the first place with a soul. And that's why we'll end up with less population. It's not like they'll all come back from spaceships. So yeah, it's a mixture of info that we've got, and we can't say that one is right and one is wrong. Maybe facets of it feel right. Yeah,
and then there's also the idea that somewhere I remember reading something. It was like, what size the planet is, this planet and other planets are, is varied depending on what dimension or density you're in. It changes.
Okay.
So
expand.
So possibly it's just the same way. It's not necessarily a different thing. It could be the same, but we're just seeing it from a different, slightly different angle. The Bart Simpson, he doesn't have a nose. I'm standing behind him. Or yeah, he does. What are you talking about? I don't see, he doesn't have a butt. What are you talking about?
Right.
If you're in front. Well, one thing I will say is I'm anticipating a positive experience. I've had the dreams and the visions of it, and it's absolutely delicious. Plus, in that really big one I had where I buzzed out and just, whoa, I came back after that, and I was still here in this house, and my neighbors walking around going, what the fuck just happened, man? And I'm like, it's okay, let's go to the community center. I know what's happening, and rounding people up. So that doesn't sound like I got taken out of my body and taken to a new planet.
No, it doesn't. It might mean that we all fall down for a while. That's a possibility. I kind of wondered if the radio work that I'm doing, that I would end up on air and be able to tell people it's all right, be calm. But if it's a solar flash, it might blow all the electricity, so that may not be the case.
Yeah, and the radio won't be working. Communication would down, internet and everything.
It would be nice if I could do that. If I could help people to.
Yeah, I agree. Huh. Well, I guess we will find out when it happens. Mm-hmm. It's also on that particular tweet thread. The time frame given was 3 to 5 years.
Still. That's what we were told 3 years ago. It can't be far away. It can't be far. I know. Sometimes I sit here going, "Oh my God, please just make it happen." I'm so tired. I'm so nervous.
Yeah. And then other times, I can just be like watching my Outlander. It's back on. Droughtlander's over. We've got our Outlander. That's the only thing I watch is for only TV type show I watch. I just love that one. I just love time travel stuff. Not to mention that the actor is just gorgeous. But things that used to tweak me aren't tweaking me as much. I'm pretty content. I had a period of time when I was having a lot of anxiety, and I just don't anymore.
I find that too.
That's a relief.
Yeah, it is. And I can get over things quicker as well. And for a while there, I just didn't cry for ages, and I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. And then then there was this one moment where I suddenly started feeling really, really, really negative, and I was aware of it. And I was like, what's going on? Then I got angry, and then I was crying, then I was lying down, and then I was wandering around the house like, I don't understand this. This is not me. This is not me. It was almost like dropped in on me, I'm very sure, because it just, once it had gone, I was back to normal again, and I haven't had anything since.
Interesting. So definitely.
They can still manipulate us, which pisses me off, but there you go.
Yeah.
Even though I was aware of it, I was aware of it. I didn't know what to.
Yeah, the thing is that you have to be so quick so that, and it's the practicing doing it on every thought and emotion you had, just always, whoa, is that mine? Because the moment you go, oh, why am I feeling this? You've owned it and you have to process it. Not all of it. You can go, wait a minute, this isn't mine, but you've owned a percentage of it. As soon as you, wow, why am I feeling this way? No, because you said, I am feeling this way, and it's not you who's feeling that way. That's what I found. But you can, in that time I did the experiment walking through my old neighborhood, and just 20 minutes of walking or something like that, and by a suburban area with houses and things. And just every single thought, every single emotion, and every single physical sensation I had, I stayed super conscious of saying, wait, is that mine? Is that mine? Is that mine? And I will say that I was almost home. I was 3/4 of the way through, and my hips started to get sore. And I thought, oh, I walked a little bit too far. And I went, wait, oh God, did I own it, or can I get rid of it? I'm like, that's not mine, that's somebody else's. And I took maybe 10 more steps before the pain went away. And that was not bad. But it wasn't instant like some of the other things.
Right. But it really shows, even with pain, that we are not victims. We can choose to disown it, right?
Right. If it's not yours. If it is yours, you got to deal. But what was so surprising on that experience, and what tricks people, is you'll have thoughts which contain memories, and it's often memories of bad things. And I was like, I know this house I just walked by in, that person's not thinking about my divorce. I'm over that, How did that happen? And I realized that I walked into a field of emotional energy that matched how I felt then.
Right.
And so my brain just provided the memory. So that's why it can be really tricky. You have to wait. I'm like, wait a minute. I am so over that. I'm not, I don't care about that. That's not mine. And it went away just like that.
Right. Sovereign, makes you a sovereign being, doesn't it? So there's so much more that we can be in charge of. We don't have to be thrown about like a leaf on the ocean, So much
but there's another thing that I've actually heard this from a lot of people that have done a lot of work on themselves, like for years, on clearing stuff. Like, wait, if it's not, what am I going to do if I'm not working on myself?
it's the job lost again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get creative. Yeah, if you don't need to help anybody. That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that with the job videos, that so many people are out there helping others that they do not want any progress that might mean that they no longer have anybody to help. So get creative.
Oh yeah, there's a real like a turnaround, oh, let me heal you. And it is, oh, I'm such a good healer, and I'm so generous, and I really love people. Look at me, it's not always that strong, but there's that little edge there. Plus, if somebody needs healing, then it's like, well, then there's something must be wrong. So it's like reinforcing there's something broken or damaged with you. And when I work with clients, the first thing I do is I connect with their soul, their higher self, and just the beauty of it. And I'm like, this other stuff is going on. This is a 3D reality. This isn't you. I'll help you move it, smooth it out, get through it, whatever. But that's not what I'm not focusing on. Oh my God, this poor person, they're being so abused,
Yeah. Focusing on the problem instead of the potential, isn't it, really?
Yeah. So a lot of weird stuff.
Good stuff. See you then.
All right.
Bye.
Ciao.